Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This is going to be Ungrim's Slayers. Yep. We have 3 Slayers back here. We have Ungrim Iron Fist, we have 2 Runesmiths, we have 2 Longbeards with great weapons, 3 normal dwarves, 2 Quarrelers, 2 more dwarves with great weapons, and that's going to make up my army. My ally over here has brought a bunch of dwarf warriors, a lot of Quarrelers, handgunner, a couple miners, more dwarf warriors over here protecting some grudge throwers, a Runesmith, and... who was their leader? I forget. Oh, a generic dwarf lord. That's right back there. We're faced off against a vampire count player and an imperial player. The empire brought 2 demigryph knights. One is over there. The other one is in the forest, I think, currently. We have empire knights. We are led by, or they are led by a generic lord on top of a griffin. They have 4 greatsword units, I believe. They have 2 handgunners. There's their demigryph knights. They also have a great cannon back in here. Now, I am starting this off a little bit further along in the battle just because there's been a lot of movement and a couple shots from the Great Cannon have gone off, a couple shots from these grudge throwers, but besides that, not much. The Vampire Count player brought Manfred on a Zombie Dragon. We have a Terrorgeist, we have multiple zombies, a few Skeletal Warriors, Graveguard, and 2 Vargeist units over here in the trees. And that is our army. Initially, I wanted to move my army into this forest to engage the Empire player there, but by the time I moved down halfway through the hill, I could see that they were already fully into the forest, and if I had marched up any further, then their gunners, which I could see that they had, would have the cover of trees, and I would just be out in the open on this hill, so I decided to up back and get a more defensive position around my ally here to protect the top of this hill, because I didn't really have enough time to get into the forest at this point. I can see the cab is running around our sides already. A lot of Quarreler fire going off towards Manfred and this Terrorgeist over there. So right now, I'm just getting ready to deal with the Empire player. Now, originally, I did opt for only 1 Runesmith and then 4 Slayers, but fighting against a Vampire Count player, I'm so used to generals being sniped by the Deathlord, so I try to bring at least 3 type of heroes. And the other 2 heroes for this army, the Master Engineer didn't really make sense in the Slayer build. I didn't want it, and the Thane I just don't care for that much. It's a solid fighter, but as far as those types of heroes go, ooh, nice shot there on my Longbeards. The giblets everywhere. It's not amazing either, so I chose to go with 2 Runesmiths, which Runesmith is so good. I really love the Runesmith. Team Runesmith all day, every day. Right now I'm moving a Slayer group, or will be, to try and guard the grudge throwers, because I was thinking maybe this is where those knights are going to be going. So one of these groups is going to be sent back. The other 2 are going to just be kept on this flank. And you see the Great Swords now charging up the hill, so I'm going to get some Quarreler shots into them with this unit. This unit was shooting at some knights, and I'm going to redirect it to shoot at the handgunners instead. And we're going to be marching down the hill to meet the line of Great Swords. The Dwarf Warriors have charged defense against large, but not against all, so there's no point in not charging here. You should try and get your charge bonus off if possible. We also have an Empire Captain coming around, trying to go after our Quarrelers. Here's the clash with our Dwarf Warriors. I'm going to slow this down because a lot of stuff kind of happens here. I'm bringing one Runesmith over here to buff up our forces over here. I'm going to be laying down the Rune of Wrath and Ruin on these Great Swords as soon as it comes up every time to try and get them down. It's like a weaker Fade Up Unispell, you can think of it that way. Ungrim is leading up the middle with these Dwarven Warriors, and then we have more Dwarf Warriors here on the flank. My other Runesmith is over here with the Empire Captain. And we dropped a Wrath of Ruin on the Demigryph Knights because I'm worrying about those the most. They're going to get a charge off on our Dwarf Warriors, and the Empire Knights are coming around as well. So we're just going to charge them because that's what Slayers do. That's a defensive spell going off from our Runesmith. I'm bringing in my 3rd group of Dwarven Slayers. They're going to be coming across the hill. There they are. Because these Knights ended up not going for the Grudge Throwers. So this unit of Dwarf Warriors got pretty messed up because they got the charge from the Demigryph Knights, but I'd rather them take it than my Slayers, which are now wrapping around here. So many Slayers. Now these Demigryph Knights try to leave, but I actually catch them with my Dwarf Warriors, my Slayers here, and then we're going to smash into them from the side. Or I guess from behind at this point. My Corlers, in the meantime, if we can just slow this down so you can see what's happening. My Corlers have been trying to fend off these two groups of handgunners. They keep coming back from routing, and I keep having to reassign them. My line is starting to falter here in the middle because it was just one Dwarf Warrior against a group of Greatswords. So Greatswords really outclass Dwarf Warriors. Also, the Lord of the Empire on the Griffin is coming down to fight Ungrim Iron Fist, which is now kind of getting singled out. Runesmith's going to drop some more protective spells to try and buff up this side. We do have a group of Longbeards with great weapons trying to fend off this Greatsword and the Dwarf Warrior and the Runesmith on this flank. So they are holding off so far. Right now, this group of Longbeards is also reinforcing this front line of Dwarven Warriors as well. And that is what's going on. Over here, this Vampire Count opponent, I'm not sure if they were having trouble with like their connections, but they kept not moving their units here and there. It was really weird. These dwarves are pretty fast for dwarves. I will say that. So we totally destroyed the Demigryph Knight unit because we caught them right here and surrounded them with these Slayers. Ungrim at this point is still by himself and getting torn to pieces by this Griffin and the Greatswords. I'm going to try and send a group of, I think it's Dwarven Warriors with Greatswords, or great weapons in here. Meanwhile, this one group of Dwarf Warriors have been just tanking this Empire Captain most of the time. Getting a flanking charge here with these Slayers. Going to try and pull this group around behind. Meanwhile, my third Slayer group is going to go off against the Empire Knights here. Are they going to try to anyway? I don't know. I don't remember if I catch them or not. No, we catch them. A little bit. So I had to get Ungrim out of this fight because the Griffin was destroying him, but now we have him backed up by Runesmith and some more Dwarf Warriors. More defensive spells going off against these two Greatsword units. I keep dropping the Wrath and Ruin to try and weaken them. And right now, this Griffin's just going to be trying to kill Ungrim Iron Fist for right now. These Slayers getting into these Knights who did not move. So we got a nice charge bonus off, and they did not. Empire Captain still tanking it out with this Dwarf unit. We got 3 units on this one Greatsword, so it's finally starting to fall. Ungrim finally dies to the Greatswords and the charge from the Griffin here. Our Runesmiths are now going to have to take charge of the Slayer army. You can see these Blood Knights are now moving into position. And these two groups, there were 3 groups, and even with all the defensive buffs, I mean, there were still 2 Greatswords here. So it's a lot for a Dwarf Warrior, a Longbeard with great weapons, and a Runesmith to take, but they're doing a pretty good job. There's another Wrath and Ruin spell going off. We're trying to chase off Karl Franz. Right now, he's going to be trying to target my Runesmiths now that he has killed Ungrim. I sent a troop of Slayers over here to try and deal with this Empire Captain, and they're going to do a lot of damage to him. So right now, I'm trying to get my Slayers over here to try and clean up these 2 Greatswords, and I want to get them into those Blood Knights who did get a charge off on my allies' Dwarven Warriors over here. This is another Wrath and Ruin that's being dropped. I think that's actually from my ally dropping that on that unit, because my ally also has a Runesmith nearby. Empire Captain is finally almost brought down. And here comes the Griffin, going to be aiming for one of my Runesmiths. Currently scouting out the territory, the ground. You can see I'm trying to get in position to help my ally. Ooh, nice shots off. Another defensive buff going down. And he goes right for the Runesmith. Just knocks him clear out to here. Meanwhile, the Greatsword units are now rallying back into the forest. And I'm trying to get my Slayers over here to deal with the Lord. Not much going on over here. I have a Corler going after some more handgunners. These Slayers about to charge in. Greatswords are coming to rally around their Lord, and I'm going to send out a charge to meet them of Dwarven Warriors, some Longbeards there. More defensive buffs. My Slayer group, I think, is going to charge this other group of Greatswords, while my third Slayer group is up here trying to deal with the Blood Knights. Here we go. Look at that! Even with their heads cut off, they still get an attack on. It's great. I love the Slayer's death animations. And they easily chase off that one group of greatswords. And now we're going to come back as he's trying to kill my runesmith again. Oh, God. Those poor Slayers. I'm doing what I can. We're dropping Wrath and Ruin, I believe, on the Lord at some point. Or maybe we already did. There it is. There it goes. It's a spell meant for multiple combatants, but I needed to bring down this Lord because he's just tearing up all my Slayers. Look at that. But it's at this point that the Lord is almost brought down by the Slayers and is forced to withdraw, and I'm going to be marching on their Great Cannon, which has just been firing this whole time. Dwarves don't really have cav to get in there, so it's kind of up to the siege engines mostly to deal with stuff like that. But I didn't bring any, and the other two are back here. So this is going to be the end of the battle. We are going to win. Now, it is unfair on one hand because the Vampire Count player, like I said, was mostly just going AFK here and there. I don't know if they have problems with the game connection. The game connection was really terrible. It was moving at like, I don't know. This 10-minute battle probably took us 20 or 25 minutes because it was such a terrible connection. So I'm thinking that maybe this Vampire Account player just was having a lot of issues. They did manage to get a couple charges off with their Blood Knights there. They managed to move units in, but then not issue attack orders. So it was a pretty one-sided fight to begin with, to be fair. But even though that being said, I think the fight between me and the Empire player was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that, and it was mostly my ally against Vampire Counts, me against the Empire, except for one group of Demigryph Knights, which did charge in, I think, around here. There they are right there. They were still fighting to the very end, this Dwarven flank. And then, of course, I did help my ally against those Blood Knights. But for the most part, the one-on-one between me and the Empire player I thought was pretty cool, so I wanted to show this battle off. Because, you know, Slayers. You don't really see Slayers often. But yeah, we're going to win it at this point, because the Empire player was really the only one fighting. Actually, we can probably just fast forward at this point. When my Slayers get there, they get one shot off with the cannon, and the crew just shatters, getting chased by very angry little dwarves with two hatchets. And, yeah, and then this player dies. Ah! I love that Dwarven call. Alright, so my ally got a lot of kills, and this enemy, as you can see, got some kills with Graveguard, because they actually sent them in to fight. The Terra guys and the Var guys were sent to fly over the units of the dwarves, but never sent down to actually engage with them. Manfred was just sitting there AFK, a Viking was just sitting there AFK, these zombies were sitting there AFK. It was so weird, but then they still charged their Blood Knights like halfway through the battle, but didn't do anything else. It was very odd. But again, this fight between me and the Empire player I thought was pretty cool. So the Empire player, the Lord, got 54 kills. That Empire captain tanked out 56 kills against Dwarf Warriors. Those great swords just destroyed my front line of Dwarven Warriors and Dwarven Warriors great swords. The handgunners, I managed to shut them down pretty quickly with my Quarrelers. The Empire Knights and the Demigryph Knights, this must have been the one sent after me. I'm assuming this is the one sent after the other player because it got 126 kills. But these two got shut down by my Slayers, which is good because that's what they're there for, to kill large creatures. And then the Great Cannon, which was left all alone until the very end, got 154 kills, which is really good. My units, Ungrim managed to get 49 kills against Great Swords, which is pretty cool. The Runesmith 34 and 6. That's a lot of kills by itself, but also just the spells they're dropping is always just amazing. The Runesmith is just so good. I usually only bring one, but again I brought two because the Vampire counts and their sniping capabilities, but I didn't have to worry about it this time. My Dwarven Frontline just got massacred by Great Swords, but that's kind of what they were there for. My Dwarven with great weapons, I think this unit was the one fighting the Empire Captain and they got destroyed. This unit did pretty okay against Great Swords, 61 kills and maybe a mixture of other units as well. These Longbeards I thought did pretty good for the price. I think they're 750. So that's pretty good because they were fighting mostly great swords. Slayers did excellent. You can see all the experience they racked up because I didn't pay for any experience, but you can see two of them ranked up 2, one of them ranked up to 1, and that's just a lot of kills against Empire Knights, Demigryphs, and great swords, and Blood Knights too. So They worked out really well in this fight, and my quarters got a lot of kills against some great swords, but mostly it was the handgunners. So good game to my opponent, Jackhammer there. And Al Shamali, I guess, who was like AFK. I've never seen a vampire count player with 0 kills across all these. The Terra guy's the only one. I feel bad for my other opponent, Jackhammer. Who knows how that fight would have been, but I did enjoy our one-on-one though. So let's look at the Slayers. Here's my Slayer army. My initial Slayer army with 4 Slayers and only 1 Runesmith, but that's how I ideally would want it to be done. But against the Vampire Counts, I'm just so afraid of my heroes being sniped, so we needed that extra one. So yeah, the Slayers here, they do have, technically, a 25% chance to block all incoming small arms fire. Weird, right? Very weird, because they don't have a shield, but it's explained here with the whirling axes. They're so good at them that they just whirl them at high speed to deflect incoming missiles. They can chop bullets out of midair. Listen, they just became so much cooler in my book. I can't do that. I don't know if you can chop bullets out of midair, or just like crossbow bolts or arrows for that matter, but that's pretty impressive. Their death blow, you can actually saw it there at the end of the video when I went in for the close-up when the dude got his head cut off and he still did his like little axe move. So they will all get at least 1 more attack off when they die. Now I don't know if that is true for when like a griffin just swipes a big group of them and they explode. I don't know if technically if they still get an attack off or not, but I guess they should technically get an attack off. They are fast for a dwarf because they do have a movement speed of 42. We can look at another dwarf like 28, so they are pretty fast for a dwarf. They're not lying. And they are anti-large. They do have a bonus of 24 on top of their 12 armor piercing and 36 weapon damage base, so that's pretty good. Charge bonus 26 is high for a dwarf. I can say that. It's pretty high for a dwarf. Oddly enough, oh, I was looking at their missile damage. I'm like, wait a minute, Corlers have a 21 charge? No, they have a 12 charge bonus. So yeah, I even go with Corlers with great weapons, although I think I did sub these 2 out so that I could get more Dwarven Warriors. I don't think my Corlers had great weapons in the actual battle. But anyway, the Slayer unit, they're pretty cool. I still think they're kind of too expensive at 1100. But they did, like, on the other hand, they did super well in this fight. They brought down the Demigryph Knights and the Empire Knights. They managed to get some flanking charges on the Great Swords, so I don't know. They're also unbreakable. I may have to use them some more. I don't know if I would use 3 or 4 of them at a time, but honestly, they did better than I expected. They took a charge of Empire Knights to the face and still won that. That's impressive to me because they do have a lot of hit points. Besides them, anything else I wanted to show off? I don't think so. I think that's really it. We can look at the Grudge Thrower because my ally did take some, I guess. They are magic resistant, as all dwarf units are. They do have armor piercing. I don't know what it is, though. 140 armor piercing and 65 explosive armor piercing. That's not bad. Oh, reload time of 19.8 seconds. Oh. That's pretty long. 19.8. That's... like, what's the cannons? Oh, 19.8? Really? Organ gun? 9.9. It's pretty fast. What about the Bretonnian Trebuchet? Now I'm just kind of curious myself. Okay, so it seems like they share 19.8. I didn't realize it was that long. It didn't feel like that long when they fire. What about the Great Cannon? Is that the same? Huh. I imagine the Hellblasters are a little faster. So they're a little slower than the Organ Gun. What about the Hellstorm? 14.4. So a little slower as well. Honestly, I thought the artillery fired a lot faster, because I've never really looked at it before. Mortars are slightly faster than trebuchets. But anyway, that was that battle. I hope you enjoyed these Slayers in this combat. Again, I apologize, or it sucks for my opponent that their ally was kind of AFK through most of that fight. But I did enjoy our battle one-on-one, and I hope you did as well. And I will bring some Slayers in the future, because they proved to be somewhat effective in this battle. Anyway, I will see you all next time. Have a great day.